Hello team, welcome back. In this video, let us try to understand how to work on FIN5063-1W4A. As a part of this activity, we try to understand how time value money can be used by different type of companies like a profit-oriented company and a non-profit-oriented company. Profit-oriented companies are generally the businesses that do their operations to generate certain amount of income for themselves. A non-profit company is a charity or a trust that work to share income to the people, to the society. Their activities do not create any business income. They just share whatever the money they have, they attained from the donations to the people or the society. However, these two companies need a lot of money to ensure that their day-to-day operations continue. Say, for example, a business company, a company that is profit oriented, that required a lot of investment from the banks or they take certain debts, certain amount from debtors, like who will be lending money to the company, or from the stock shareholding, selling the equity or selling the stocks. They can raise money to ensure that their investment and business activities continue. Similar to that, sometimes if a non-profit organization do not have enough money to continue their operations, they also get loans from the banks and certain entities to ensure that their charitable or trust activities continue. Okay, here, as a part of first question, what we try to understand is we try to identify different type of financing options that each type of company have. So come on to this one, this private profit company, click control and press a key. Click on the link. Use press control and click on the link so that it takes you to a window like this. Now you can see different financing options for the business. First one is debt financing. We get a lot of options and it explains this link clearly explains different financing options and what are the advantages and disadvantages of using that particular financing option. So you can see these all are financing options that a business have. Okay, so you can select any three or four options and you can discuss about what kind of financing options available for profitable company. Okay, profit making company. Next, come on to this hyperlink, press control and click on the link to open this one. This shows different type of financing options for a non-profit company. Just discuss a few. We select any one or any two, three options. Three options. Take any random three options among these available options and discuss how what kind of financing options that company, a non-profit company, a trust or charity have. Okay, so you need to discuss these things in the first part. This should be done for a profit and non-profit company. This should be done in 300 words. Now, whatever the option you take, whatever the option you take, means like for example, for a profit company, you might have selected different options, right? Each option, what kind of impact it will be creating for the organizations. For example, if when we raise a debt or equity, or if we take a loan, we will be using it for investment related to the organization. And such investments should ensure that they create certain benefit to the organization. Usually, the companies, what they do, whatever the money they raise, that will be used for creating new products, new services, or conducting some kind of business operational activities, such that by doing such activities, they can get certain income. They can raise certain income for the company. So make sure you take whatever the options you selected here. You might have selected different options here, right? By mentioning those options, how such options will be helping organizations to invest in the future, investing for the future. The details should be explained here. And similarly, for a non-profit company, what kind of in what way whatever the money that raised will help such charitable organizations that should be addressed. Maybe because of conducting, maybe we might like being a charity company. I will be taking a loan from the bank and I'm conducting a fundraising event. Okay, to conduct that event, I don't have money. So I have conduct for the purpose I took the loan. After conducting the event, I might be getting a lot of donations so that some amount, some part of money can be used for repaying the loan, whatever the loan I have took, and remaining can be utilized for the future donations, future charity activities. Okay, this is how fundraising companies will do will take loans and ensure that their operations active so that they conduct certain events and they raise funds and they return money to the banks along with the interest, and they can keep remaining amount to ensure that their charitable activities are continued. Okay, so this is how non-profit organizations will be investing and their future can be discussed. I recommend you to write at least a 300 word work on this section too. Okay, these two sections. Total it will be 600 words. This is all theory part. Now we are supposed to discuss. This is the third part. These two are third part. So for this one, write at least 400, 300 to 400 words. So in this section, what we try to do is we will be using time value money concept to analyze how the value of organization will be changed over a period of time. Usually, what it means time value money, what explains is the dollar that we have today will not be saved tomorrow. Say, for example, you invested 1,100 rupees, $100 or like take $1,000 on a share. Okay, if the share increased by 5% by next day, you have done nothing. The money itself generated certain profit for you. It will become 1,050 tomorrow. Okay, this is how the value of money will change. Similarly, like different as different type of money, whatever we have, that will be changing. That will be changing based on the time period we take. So here, a profitable company or non-profitable company, usually they have certain assets. Their value will be some XYZ price today that will be increased over a period of time. Okay, we can discuss about assets. Assets include both current assets and non-current assets. They can increase over a period of time. Okay, so similarly, if you take that is all related to the assets. In the liabilities, if you cross check, we will be having debts and equity. You can also discuss about debt and equity. Means, like for example, if you have $100 debt today, what it could be in next 10 years. If you don't, if you continue the debt for next 10 years, what is the amount that you will be repaying to the lenders, whoever has given loan for them, how much you are going to return. These values will be calculated as a part of third part, and we write a 300 word content on that. For that, what I did is I have created two Excel sheets. You need not to perform any calculations. Simply inserting values is enough. So take profitable company. This is this sheet W4A profit company sheet that will be look like this. It consists of a balance sheet that we have to copy paste from morningstar.com the way we might have done in previous years. Okay, so that has to be taken. So now I will show the example of Apple. So let me open a website. Morningstar. Now I'm just checking for AFEL. You try searching for your own company. In the last two activities, you might have used different companies. You can use the same company. Otherwise, you can go with different company. When I searched for AAPL, the Apple related financials were observed here. Click on financials, go to balance sheet here. So click on financials here, then go to balance sheet here. Come down, use expand view, use export data. the file exported here like this. Just go to it, double click on that. It will open like this. Just copy A to G or A to F. TTM is not required. A to F you copy. Otherwise, you can also take up to TTM. Just copy by clicking here. Whole column we are copy. 1, 2, 3, and up to G we copy it. Now just come here and paste it over here. Okay, the values are pasted. Simply when you open this one here, the relevant values are automatically taken by the sheet. This model is created by me, so it automatically takes value. Now we try to assess. The first sheet is related to assets and how time value money work on assets. Next, debt, how on time and debt, how the time value money will work, and in the final stage, the total equity and how they will be changing. So here the assets value, sorry, it was by mistake. I took income statement. I will replace it with the balance sheet. Give me a second. I have to take balance sheet. So this is the balance sheet. Now I copy it and paste it. So it automatically does that. Now I can see the asset value. I can see the debt value and I can see the equity value. All the values are generated. Now let us try to understand. See, this page clearly explains how the time value money concept works on assets the company have. The next sheet, this explains how the time value money concept works on debt the company have. Okay. Next, the equity sheet. It's all about how the time value money worked on equity related value. Okay. So now let us try to understand assets and time value money. From the sheet, we identified that the total current assets is this value and the total current is this one, total assets is this one, total non-current assets is this. See, if you want to know what could be your assets value in certain period of time, after a certain period of time, maybe 10 years, 12 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, whatever the time you want to take. If you know what is the time and what interest, if you assume like your value will be increasing, if you have both the values, you can get the value of future value of your assets. Okay, here in this sheet, wherever the value color is yellow, like in both the Excel sheets that I will explain now, wherever the yellow is there, first you can change it. You can change it to different values. Okay, now I'm trying to change this one. I will make 9 years. This value is automatically changing and 12%. So I set type 12%. Now we can see that after 9 years, if the value increases at the rate of 12%, means if the rate of interest paid to the assets is 12%, the amount will become this. Okay. So this is how we can calculate time value money. So what I want you to do is we just discuss about how any one value you can take one current assets or non-current assets or total assets. Any value you take and explain how time value money might change, like using time value money, how you can assess the future value of assets considering certain period of time and the rate of interest you have. You just need to discuss about how like time value money concept, give a basic introduction here, give basic introduction of time value money, basic intro to TMV, time value, TVM, time value money. Next, discuss about profitable company. The profitable company, you discuss about any one among the assets, any one among the, so only debt value and equity. We discuss about these three things. You give your own years, and you give your own percentage of interest. Based on that, you can get values. Next, using the Excel sheet that I have give again, discuss about non-profitable company. See, non-profitable company do not have, usually they don't have equity. Uh, means shares, they won't invest in shares because such companies don't have usually shares. So what we do is we just focus on assets the company have, and debt that company have. Okay, these two things we discuss. These whole things, all these three sections should be discussed in 300 words, and finally we will be concluding it. So now I discussed about assets, right? So this is all about assets. Next, if you want to expect, like for example, you have this much amount, means this value is converted into millions. This is converted into millions here by dividing it with 1,000. Okay. So this is in millions. This is the same value, but it is in, this value is in millions. If you expect certain amount, like if you want this amount to become one crore, like something like this, maybe a larger value, and the time you give, if in 12 years, if you want in 12 years that this value to become this value to become this value, then at what rate of interest you are supposed to get returns, what interest you need to get, that you can realize that value, you can realize by using this formula. So this is the formula that we have used. You are supposed to mention formula also here. Also this formula should also be mentioned: future time value money for future value, and for rate, both formulas should be mentioned in your document. So if you want the total assets value to be this in 12 years, the interest at which you are supposed to your asset should grow is 59.61%. So this value can also be mentioned in your document. Try to mention any one detail among the assets, and in this also any one detail. If you took current assets here, total assets here, you take same total assets and expectation value based on which you will be calculating percentage of return. Next, see, usually everybody will have debt, right? So maybe when we are taking EMI of any product on EMI, what we calculate, see, maybe you might have taken a product which is of 1 lakh on EMI. We will be calculating how much you will be paying after a certain period of time, completing all your EMIs. That will be the final amount that we are paying it to the company that gave you loan, right? Similarly, we are calculating if the company have the total debt of that selected company, app will have this is this amount. After 10 years, if the rate of interest the company pays to the loan givers is 5%, the amount will be this. Okay, so this is how this amount we will be paying it to the company. So using future value concept, you can also calculate how much we are going to pay to loan giving company after a certain period of time at a certain interest rate. You are supposed to enter these two values. It is up to you to keep the same values or changing it. So my suggestion is whatever the values you give here, try to give the same value so that it will be easy for you to finish it. Next, equity. Equity is also same. So people will be like public will invest in your company by purchasing your shares. So after a certain period of time, what is the amount you will be paying to the shareholders based on the interest rate that you can calculate using future value formula. So here the same values are taken, and when your total, this is incorrect. Total, this is totally. So when you have this much total equity, and after 10 years, if the company pays 5% returns to the shareholders, the amount that the company will pay to the shareholders is this. Okay, you are supposed to discuss about assets, debt, and equity for profitable company. Now, let us check with non-profitable company. So usually for most of the non-profitable companies, we don't get financial details. So what I did is I have created my own assets and non-current assets, current assets, loan amount values. You just change these values according to your understanding. Okay. So now same formula to address the task for assets, and similarly we address the debtors. So based on this, you can say that non-profitable company can assess its assets and debt values by using time value money concept. Okay. After writing these three sections, give a small conclusion about how financing options vary for different type of companies, and how time value money can be used by the companies to understand what amount they can make and what amount they are going to repay to the financiers. Okay, this is all about the task. It's a lengthy explanation, but make sure you listen once or twice so that you understand it properly and write the task in 1,000 words. All the best. One more thing here, don't give any screenshots. Whatever the calculations that are made, give the formula and straight away you mention the values. That's enough. Okay, need not to give any screenshots of the Excel sheet. Thank you very much. All the best. Good.